Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Here we go. I think we're all just about in.
Morning, I'm not Kay.
Morning. I had a stroke, Kay.
Change my name. It's all right.
Morning, everyone.
Well, I think we're all in. Yes, good morning to everyone. Welcome to part 2 of our Get Found on Google Introduction to Local SEO webinars. So part 1 was last Friday for some of you that were on the call. We discussed Google My Business listings. So thank you for those that attended that. Today is part 2, and we're talking all about local SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization, but we're looking at that can be applied to a local level. So if your business sells products or services locally, that is to a local audience, a local area, then we'll just go through some of the kind of the things that you can look for on your own website to help you be found on a local search on Google for your products or services. So if we very quickly just introduce the team. Myself, Garth Waters, I'm co-director of Alliance Marketing, and then we've got Matt, who's on the call.
Morning all, hope you're all well.
Morning.
I've escaped into the office today, so it's quite nice. It's quite nice to be back in here.
So there's Matt, and then we've got Kaylee, who's our graphic designer, and then we are currently recruiting for a digital marketer, which hopefully will happen in the very near future. So that's a little bit about us. So okay, let's talk about local SEO and what local SEO actually is. So what is a local search compared to a normal search? So a local search is a search carried out when a user is looking for a product or service near to where they are. So a good example is for ourselves. If someone is searching for marketing agencies in Newport, then hopefully will come up top of Google, but that is classed as a local search because a person is searching for a specific service in a specific area. So 97% of consumers looked online for a local business listing in 2018, and I'm pretty sure that over the past 2 years that figure will be the same, or if not higher than that. And I think if you think about your own searching behaviors on Google, at some point recently you probably would have searched for a local business within the area that you live. So that gives you an idea of what a local search is compared to a normal search, which is just anything else that you would search for on Google. So these are examples of local searches. So if you're searching for an MOT garage near me or Italian restaurant near me, then they're classed as local searches, and a near me search is a very popular trend when it comes to a local search because people are searching typically for something which is close to them. So what Google does is when you start typing in a search, then it will bring up a lot of related terms, and it kind of preempts what you're searching for. So when you start searching for MOT garage, it'll start bringing up all of these different kind of search terms which Google thinks you may be searching for. And these are usually the most popular search terms by other people that have recently been placed into Google. So as you can see with the MOT garage Newport, Cardiff, near me open Sunday, close to me or around me. So these are all popular searches that people have put within Google to correspond with what you're searching for. And then it's the same with restaurants. It looks at your local area, what you might be searching for. And it also then, as you can see, starts to bring in some of those business names as well, Vittorio's, Azizi. So that gives you an idea of what a local search may look like on Google and the related searches based around that. So nearly half of all Google search are intended for local purposes. So how are local searches displayed? So this is a map listing. So in the previous webinar that we've done, this featured. So this is a 3-pack on Google. So if you're searching for something local, then this map will appear on your results. And these map results come before your normal searches. So that's why we say it's very important to get your business listed within the map listing. So there's plenty you can do to do that. But this gives you an idea of what a local search looks like and how it's displayed. As you can see, if someone was searching for marketing agencies near Newport, our listing will come top. It shows the amount of reviews we have, the times we're open, the kind of services we're offering and address. So that's why we say it's always important to get that looking as good as you possibly can, because that will result in calls or inquiries or clicks through to your website. This is where you want to be displayed. If anyone has any questions, by the way, about what we're covering, then please whack it into the chat box, and then we'll go through them at the end, and we'll do our best to answer them. So organic listings, again, this is after the maps. So once you've seen the map listings, you'll come down, and these are your general regular listings. But what you will see is that hardly any of these actually link to a business website. These are all directory listings. So you've got 3 Best Rated, which is a directory listing. You've got Gumtree, a directory. You've got Yell, a directory. Who Can Fix My Car? These are all directories. So that's why we say it's just as important to get your website listed on popular directory websites as it is to have a website, because typically these directory listings will appear before your own website does. And you can usually generate a certain amount of traffic by people clicking through to yell.com. Or if you're a tradesperson, you've got the websites like checkertrade.com. And these all do have some relevance when it comes to local search, because these websites such as yell.com will have more domain authority than your own website. So that means it's just a more popular, there's more traffic going through to it, and Google regards that as a higher authority website than what your own would. So 88% of those who do a local mobile search will call or visit a local business within 1 day of that search. So that shows the intention that people do have typically when they're searching for a local service or product. There is a buying intention with that. So just bear that in mind when someone is searching for your product or service. There is a genuine chance that they are looking to buy from you. So backlinks, and how do I get backlinks? So if I explain what a backlink is, first of all. So backlinks, they're also known as citations. They're important as they validate the physical location of your business. So the easiest way of explaining what a citation is, it's another website linking back to yours. So every website needs to have other websites linking back to them. The idea is that we get really good quality websites linking back to yours. So a good quality website would be something like the Guardian website. They put a link on their website back to yours. Google would look at that and say that's a really powerful backlink there, because Guardian, a massive, well-known website, there must be some trust involved. So how do you get these backlinks? Well, a lot of these sites will have directories, business directories. So they are like your yell.com, your Wales Online business directory, the Sun, the Mirror, the Telegraph, they all have their own business directories as well. So by getting your business website listed on these directories, that will mean that you get a good quality backlink going back to your website. So if you move on to the next page, this is an example of just some of the websites that you can get your own website listed on. So Apple has their own map, like Google Maps, there's an Apple Maps, so you can get your business listed on that. And typically Apple display their maps in most car sat navs. So when people are searching in their car for locations or businesses, it's usually the Apple Maps that will be used within a car navigation. So that's why we say get your business listed on that, because if someone is searching from their car, they are likely to find your business on there. Then you've got the phone book, you've got the Independent, the Mirror, Facebook, obviously, get your website listed on Facebook, that's a good quality backlink. And then you've got others, Wales Online, Yell. Yelp is it's a local review site, so you get a listing on there, 192. All these are free, so you can do that yourself, get your business listed. There may be an element of spam that you get back, because they will then try and sell you a premium listing. Yell always do. As soon as you list your business on Yell, within a day or two, you'll get a phone call off them saying, spend some money with us. But obviously you don't have to. You can just say you're trying the basic listing. But that's a really good backlink. And Yell, certainly for local searches, Yell is always on the first page of Google for pretty much every local product or search. So get your business listed on that if you haven't already. So now we're going to touch upon the basics of website SEO. So this is not too technical, but there is an element of user input, shall we say, that you'll need to do to ensure your website is optimized. So this is how you optimize each website or each page on your website. So every web page has a title tag and a description tag. So these are little bits of code, snippets of code that are placed within a web page, and this helps a search engine understand your website better. So what Google will do, it'll take out the information that's placed in a title tag and a description tag, and then it will use that to say, okay, if someone is searching for a product or service, it'll display your website or display a competitor's website. So for the purposes of local SEO, we say that within your title tag, which is your main title of your web page, you should be putting the service or product that you offer, the location that you're offering it, and your business name. So that covers 3 aspects. So if someone is searching for your business name, then you should come up. If someone's searching for the location, then hopefully your website will come up. And if they're searching for the service or product you offer, then you should come up. If you put all those 3 together, then you're much more likely then to be displaying within a local search. So a description tag is a descriptive, useful, and realistic paragraph about the services you offer, where you are located, and the name of your business. So you try and get all of that within the tag of your description. Now, typically you can only fit a short amount of text within the tags. So you need to be as specific as possible when it comes to optimizing your pages, but we'll look at other pages on your website and how you can optimize those specifically. So then at the bottom, this just gives you a snippet then of what a optimized website will typically look like on Google. So you'll have your domain, then you'll have the title, and then you'll have the description. So what we're trying to do is get all of that information into each of your web pages so that Google can index your website for a local search. And you have to optimize every other page on your website as well. So if you offer multiple services, then make sure that you have separate pages for each service and optimize them accordingly. So if I give the example of the MOT, the garage, so the homepage may be optimized for MOT servicing garage in Newport, South Wales, Joe Bloggs Mechanics. So that would be the title tag. Description then would be something which elaborates more on that. But then if they offer MOTs, we'd put a page on their website just for MOTs and optimize that page. If they did servicing, they would have a servicing page. If they sold parts, we'd create a page for that. So we look to create a separate page on the website for each individual service that they offer, because then you can optimize those pages separately from your main homepage. So I'm going to pass over to Matt now, because he's going to talk a little bit about the content that you should be creating to go onto your website to better optimize your site. Matt?
Okay, no, thank you. When it comes to writing content, you know what you do. You know the services and products that your business provides. The key to it is communicating that information across to your customers, not in too much of a technical term, right to the lowest base point, I suppose, and write the content in a way that everybody is going to understand. One thing we often say to our clients is please, please, please break your content down as well into bite-sized chunks. Don't have huge paragraphs, because think about your own experiences when you look at websites. People won't read big, lengthy paragraphs. Break them down. Break them down and put subheaders into each of your pages to explain what the next paragraph's going to be about. The reason we recommend you do that for your website, for blog posts, for all sorts of things, is so that if somebody just skims that page, they're going to get an understanding of what the content, what the information on that page is about, just by reading the subheaders if they haven't got the time to do it. When it comes to blog posts themselves, try to start a blog post by answering a question. For example, we work with a law firm, and we often write about the different elements or different legal services they provide. But to get our ideas about what to write about, we'll speak to the solicitors, we'll speak to the various employees there to ask them what their clients are asking them. For example, what does the conveyancing process entail? How do I start? How do I go about getting a settlement agreement? What questions do I need to ask about a settlement agreement? By doing that, there's a fair old chance, and obviously you do your market research as well. Have a look at things like Google Analytics, and there are various other websites that will tell you what people are searching for on the product services that you provide, and answer questions. So start your blog post, start a page, for example, with how do I change solicitors, or how do, as I mentioned about the settlement process, how does the settlement process work? Then answer that question in the post, but break the information up as you go along and keep using subheaders, include photographs as well to personalize it a little bit more. Always as well include calls to action, a CTA. Always do that either at the beginning or at the end of it, so that they've read the information. You need to tell them what to do next. Don't assume they're going to have a look back through your website to find your telephone number or your email address. I'll put it there for them. Put a hyperlink at the end of it as well. And it's very, very easy to do. So they click on it and they can send an email through to you straight away. In terms of when it comes to updating your web, when it comes to blog posts, I should say, look to update as often as possible by creating content, by creating blog posts that are relevant to your target market. Think about that. There's two different types of blog posts really, that you've got your evergreens and you've got your topical. Your evergreens are blog posts that can be used at any time of the year, that are relevant throughout the process. To stick with conveyances, to stick with legal services, conveyancing takes place throughout the year. So you can write blog posts about different parts of the conveyancing process, or different parts about employment law, family law, so on and so forth. But then when it comes to, if you were involved in a retail business, for example, you could start writing about if the busiest time of your year was Christmas, if you're a restaurant or if you were a retailer, as I just said, you start talking about, you know, what are the best Christmas gifts, and you'd start pushing your own products items. Or you start talking about Christmas parties if you're a restaurant, and various other different bits and pieces. A really, really good one is customer case studies as well. When you look at the analytics for a lot of websites, you will see that a lot of people go to the About Us page and the case studies. And the case study page is a really, really good way of demonstrating how the product services that you provide have benefited your customers. So what you do for a case study, for example, is you start off by introducing the problem, why the customer came to you in the first place, what they were looking for. You then talk about how you help them, so how your specific skills, knowledge, product, services benefited your client. And then at the end, then you hopefully include a testimonial from your client to say, wow, these guys were fantastic. They helped us do this, that, and the other. And again, put a call to action at the end of it. So I just briefly touched on evergreens. Other things you can put on there as well as topical stuff. So, for example, with the law firm that we're working with, we're writing about what's going to happen at the end of the stamp duty or the Welsh land transaction tax holiday that ends in March. How is that going to affect the conveyance industry? We're thereby demonstrating the knowledge, the skills, the expertise that the company has, and that sort of instills confidence, I suppose, in people who are thinking about using your services. I mean, Andrew, for example, at RPS, you guys have provided us with a really, really helpful app at this moment in time. We're working from home a lot of the time, but we've used this app from RPS now that redirects our phone calls through to our mobile phones. We don't need to be in the office. We're not missing out on business. They've provided us with a really good service that's helped us out. So you could write about experiences such as that, product service. Other people will read about that and think, actually, yeah, that's something that can really help us as well. It's answering questions for people and providing as much information as possible. Other good things as well, of course, is if you're introducing new product services, if you've got new members to the team, if you've moved offices, if you've won awards, if you've achieved certain industry accreditation, so on and so forth. Stuff like that, get that onto your website, write blog posts about that. And of course, the other benefit of writing stuff like writing content like that is you can then share that out via your social media on your Google My Business page as well. It's all really, really helpful stuff, and it's all to do with keeping regular, relevant content communication with both your customers and potential customers, your prospects. Well worthwhile doing.
And the other benefit of writing blogs is that from an SEO point of view, it's really helpful because you are adding new content to your website on a regular basis, which Google loves. You can be very specific. So if it is a specific topic you're writing about, then you can optimize that specifically for a specific audience that may want to read that. Another tool that we use when it comes to writing blogs is to use Google Trends. So that's part of the Google family. It's free to use, and you will be able to see all of the trending topics worldwide, or UK or Wales. And obviously you can break it down into category. So if there was a specific category, whether it was shopping or business related topics, then put in a search term or find the most trending search terms and then write a blog about it. If it's relevant to your business, write a blog about it, because these are the most trending search terms at the moment that people are looking for, which will obviously then generate traffic to your website. So we use Google Trends quite a bit to look for topics on specific business related articles.
If I can quickly add in terms of length of a blog post, try and go for a minimum of 300 words. It's sort of an old industry rule, I suppose, but try and aim for 300 words. Short blog posts, they can work, but if you go for 300 words or more, that will give you the right sort of size as well. Again, for the search engines, it works for the search engines doing it to that length.
Okay, so we'll move on to more the technical aspect of optimizing a website now. So these are the tools typically that we would use. So most of our websites are built using WordPress. So there is a plugin called Yoast SEO that we install. You can install a plugin called Monster Insights then, which will act as your analytics and give you data within the back end of your website. If your website is built using Wix, then you can use the built-in page optimizer. Squarespace has a similar, but because we use WordPress mostly, then that is what we look at using to optimize the sites. And then obviously you've got a Google Search Console, which gives you a lot more deep data about the goings on of your website. And then you've got your Google Business Listing as well, which will provide its own insights, which we touched upon in our part 1 of our workshops. So there's what I will do now. I've got a slide somewhere. I will show you what I'll do is I'll close this screen. I'll go to a live website and show you how we optimize a website specifically for local search. Just bear with me.
He's running the gauntlet here.
Well, hopefully the internet here is a lot better than the office internet, so we shouldn't have too many problems. We say, right. So a question from Layla. Interesting comments about blogging. This is something I'm still learning about. I think it's, I mean, blogging is really important when it comes to local SEO, because you're always updating content on your website. What sites do you suggest to write your blogs? Are there any free ones? So again, because most of our websites are built using WordPress, WordPress is essentially a blogging platform in its own right. So the websites we build will have a blogging section on it. So we will create the blogs then to go onto that site. But I mean, you can register a free WordPress website yourself to create a blog. There are lots of other blogging platforms out there that you can go on. The difficulty then is getting it out into the public and how you do that. So that's why we say, at least with a website, if you've got a blog attached to your website, you can optimize that properly. You've got more opportunity then at people finding the blog that you've written about. So let me just share my screen.
Or another option would be just to use your Google My Business page. So they allow, I think it's 750 per post. It is 750 per post. So that will give you a fair amount. So if you don't have the facilities to add blog posts to your website, just use Google My Business listing. It's free of charge, completely free of charge.
Okay, so if you can see my screen now, this is the back end of one of our clients' WordPress websites. So they're a beauty salon in Pontypool. So we've got the Yoast SEO plugin installed on this website, and this little section here is the homepage of the website, and this is what we've optimized this homepage for them to be found for the services relating to them in the area. So as you can see in this little section here, this is a snippet of what it should look like when it displays on Google. So the SEO title is what we fill in by there. That's the main title of the homepage. So as you can see, we've put Clarins, Beauty Day Spa and Salon, Pontypool, Torvine, Beauty Oasis. So if you go back to what we said about previously, it mentions the products and the services, it mentions their location, and it mentions the business name. So we're covering all those aspects there to ensure that it gets found on Google. Then you've got the description. So the description just elaborates more on who they are, the services they offer, and where they're located. So typically we'll put in perhaps the town or the village that they're in, but we'll also open that up a little bit wider. So that's why we tend to put in Torvine, or we put in South Wales, because then that just opens up the location. So if someone is searching for a South Wales based business, then that has more chance of appearing as well. So we always tend to look at putting town and city plus a wider location in. So that's just a home page. You can do that then with every other page. So you can imagine they've got 30 odd pages for each of the individual services or treatments that they offer. So we'll optimize every page then for that. Then they've got their blog, which they'll update with offers. So there's so much you can do within the back end of your website. So I just thought I'd show that as a kind of a live example. For those of you who've got WordPress websites, this is something that you can do yourself, or I mean, we tend to do it for a lot of our clients as well that have never had any optimization on their website. So that just gives you an example there. So a few more questions. Josie, how do we make sense of the Google Analytics dashboard? Well, in its most basic information, you can see the amount of people that are coming through to your website. So it gives you an idea of the traffic that you get, what pages they're viewing, where they're coming from. Is it social? Is it Google? So that gives you the most basic of information, but then you can really dig deep into the amount of time they're spending on your website, which pages they're going to and from. So there's so much information, and it all depends on what information you want to get from it. What do you want to be finding out? You can track conversions. So if you've got a contact form on your website, then you can track every time that someone fills in a form, you can track that through analytics. That requires a bit of setting up, but analytics is a massive thing, and you can do whatever you want with it to get the data that you want. So, but in its most basic form, it's very useful for understanding how many people are visiting your website and where they're coming from.
And to get ideas, as Gareth mentioned, Google Trends is fantastic. There's another website that we sort of dip in and out of as well, which is called Answer the Public, and that's fantastic. You just type in your industry sector or what you're thinking about writing about, and it will give you a list of all the questions that people are asking on the internet about that particular subject at the time. So that can give you a whole raft of different ideas for content for your website. So that's Answer the Public. It's a free service. You can pay for sort of more detailed reports, but definitely worthwhile having a look at.
Yeah. Karine, would you suggest to use the mobile version rather than the desktop? When it comes to editing, then definitely do it on a desktop because it's much easier to navigate than on a mobile. But what it does, it will display the same information or very similar information regardless of whether you edit this on a desktop or mobile. So the preview that you can see there, that displays it as a mobile result, but you can view it then as it would on a desktop. So we place the same information in. It just gives you an idea then of how that would display on a mobile or desktop. But if you're editing this, doing it yourself, always do it on a laptop or desktop. It's a lot easier for you. Paul, what's a slug? A slug, it's just a little bit of code that you can put in, not the slugs that you're probably thinking of. This is a lot more technical than that. So, I mean, that's something that you don't necessarily need to place within it. It's just a little bit of extra code that doesn't really apply to most searches. So you can just ignore that bit. The most important part of this is your title tag and your description. And that's the bit that you want to be focusing on. Any more questions? I think that is it. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of local SEO, how to, if you've got a website already, then what you can do to improve your local search. If you've got a WordPress website and you haven't got any SEO plugins installed, then there's a very good chance that your website's not optimized. So, you can look at that. We do provide a service where we can run through your website and take a look and see what is currently being optimized. If it's, if you're looking for more local optimization, then we can look at that and see which is the best kind of course of action for you. But hopefully that that's helpful. If anyone wants to replay through this, then we'll be putting a recording of this on YouTube, on Facebook later on today. If anyone wants to go through, if anyone has any questions, then obviously just speak to us and we'll help you out.
There's quite a few blog posts on our website as well around the subject matter. So have a look, have a read through, and as Gareth just said, please get in contact, ask as many questions as you like. Nothing is a stupid question. Believe you me, I've asked plenty of questions. No, there isn't such a thing as a stupid question. Just ask, please. We're here to help.
Directory listings as well. Look at directory listings because they are important. They will. The more directory listings that you're on, good quality ones anyway, then that will help improve your local search engine ranking as well. So, so yeah, thank you for attending this morning. So this is part 2. Part 3 is next week at the same time, which Matt will be mostly taking over, and it's about, what's it about, Matt?
Online reviews, how to get them, how to manage them, how to respond to them. Yes. So tickets, and how beneficial they are. Tickets are available on the Sino Bounds website, so please feel free to book on those. And yeah, we'll see you same time again next week. Thank you very much for attending. See you all later.